possible. So at this time, if Miss Dominica David is on the line, I'm
I
going to turn it over
am.
to you because she has some wonderful information regarding the college application process and the things of that nature for all of our parents of seniors. And then after her, we'll turn it back over to Mr. Ojeda because I know you guys have questions for him.
Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Williams. Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dominica David. I'm the college counselor here at Edison. I just wanted to make a couple of brief announcements. I don't have a presentation per se, but I wanted to come onto this call, introduce myself, answer some frequently asked questions I've been getting for the past couple of months, and then field your questions, see if you have anything for me. Because if you have questions, definitely other people have those same questions. So I just want to briefly start with the SATs and PSATs, ACTs, all standardized testing pretty much. Right now, standardized testing is something that's still kind of foggy. The College Board is still canceling administrations of the SAT. Students are registering. Some of you may have had this experience with your child. Students are registering, and then their administration gets canceled due to COVID because the site closed, or for and many other various reasons. Having said that, many colleges will, for at least for this year, so all CUNY schools and SUNY schools have made themselves test optional, which means that they do not require any SAT or ACT scores for them to be admitted into the program. What does this mean? This now means that your child's transcript, which means GPA, letters of recommendation, personal statements, those are all things that college admissions counselors are going to be looking at more heavily because they do not have that standardized test score to go by any longer. If you Private colleges kind of do their own thing, they can make their own rules. What I've been sending out to students is they can go to this website, and I'm putting in the chat, fairtest.org. Fairtest.org is a website that contains every single school that is test optional. Okay. So like I said, this is definitely for the class of 2021. They could apply without any SAT scores to most of the colleges they are going to. And if this climate kind of stays the way it is, I'm sure it will be something that the class of 2022 will be experiencing as well, and so on and so forth. I'm also, for parents of seniors, I'm getting a lot of questions about timeline, etc. So I have been messaging to the seniors that want their applications done as soon as possible. This is because I would like some time for troubleshooting between when I see the applications on Naviance and when the college admissions rep sees the applications on the due date. So I've set an internal deadline for students to have their applications done before Thanksgiving, which is November 25th. This is nowhere near the deadlines that colleges meet unless the student is applying early. So for early action, early decision. So if the student is applying regular decision, which most of our students are, students don't necessarily get any privileges by applying early because schools need to have seats for early action and early decision, but schools also need to have seats for regular decision. So I always tell the students, if you don't meet the admissions criteria for early action, you probably will not meet it for regular decision and either. So vice versa, if you need some time to actually perfect that personal statement or to pick your grades up, etc., then it just makes more sense to apply regular decision to make sure that application is done correctly. So sorry, that was a sidetrack. But so the deadlines mostly, they start around January, so January 1st, January 15th. The CUNY deadline is February 1st. And then for most private colleges, I'll say most are rolling, which means you can apply at any time during the year and get in. Technically, for a rolling school, your child could apply in August and start in September. Okay? But having said that, by November 25th, I would like for, at the very least, their Naviance accounts to be set in that their college is on Naviance. Their complete college list is on Naviance by November 25th. That way, I know what schools they're applying to. I can send their application materials, such as their letters of recommendation and their transcript and the school profile, with ample time for them to be able to get their admissions decision by March. What other question? I mean, that's pretty much, FAFSA. So FAFSA is, again, like college applications, there is no real deadline for FAFSA. You can apply for FAFSA in August, then have it apply for September. Having said that, not super smart because the country and the federal government do run out of money. So the earlier you apply for FAFSA, the more money your child will probably get from federal aid. In addition to FAFSA, if your child is going to stay in New York for school, there's state aid in the form of TAP, Tuition Assistance Program. So what that just does is an extra supplemental check for your child to use for books, transportation, any tuition that wasn't covered by the federal government. So that definitely works too. I set a deadline for December 23rd for FAFSA to be done. This really does ensure that your child is getting as much money as possible as long as you guys qualify for the aid. And what you're going to be using for FAFSA and for TAP is the 2019 tax returns, your 2019 tax returns. I've gotten a lot of parents say, but you know, my situation is much more different now. I lost my job due to COVID. There are a lot of different things. There are a lot of different moving pieces this year. I want to let you know that college admissions counselors and colleges themselves know that. Okay? So if, let's say, your 2019 taxes do not reflect how the experience you're having right now, once your child gets that acceptance letter and then you see the scholarships and the grants that the school, the federal government, and the state have offered your child, if it's still not enough, we can definitely reach out to the school to see if we can get your child some more money. And I definitely will help with that. I have a couple of questions. It is hard to find a test site close. It's hard to find a test site that's open right now. A lot of them are being canceled as far as the SATs. Can you repeat about Naviance? So for Naviance is basically what me and your child use to communicate about colleges, deadlines, etc. There's 530 seniors and one of me. So I really push Naviance really heavily because I can see your child's college lists. I can see their deadlines, whether they're applying early, regular, rolling. And like I said, that's how I send out their letters of recommendation and I send out their transcripts, the school profile, everything. So the deadline for applications is just for seniors. Juniors are not applying to any colleges right now. They do not start applying to colleges until the fall of their senior year. How will I be able to pay off my student debt? Well, I mean, I can't necessarily answer that question.
Right.
Is that for the child or for the parent? Student. Okay, so student debt is something that's very real these days. Having said that, I do know that FAFSA and TAP really do provide a lot of aid, much more than you think. TAP, even if you don't get anything from FAFSA, you might get from TAP still. In addition to that, for the seniors, so for each graduating class, we have a Google Classroom. So for seniors, it's the class of 2021. For juniors, the class of 2022. Sophomores, class of 2023. Freshmen, class of 2024. I'm mostly active in the class of 2021 Google Classroom because those are the seniors and those are the ones who are applying for scholarships and deadlines, etc. So I update that classroom regularly with any scholarship opportunities I get. And I also have a bunch of different resources on how to apply for FAFSA. I have a document on there with the top 10 scholarship websites. So there's definitely different ways for your child to apply for scholarships and pay for college. There's also something called work study that you can opt for while you're filling out FAFSA. And work study is your child would get a job within the college and their paycheck would be used to go towards their tuition as well.
So, Ms. David, I just add one of the resources for the parents, like it's sallyme.com. They offer so many workshops for the parents. So
Great.
the parents can get some idea for the grant and scholarship and how to build that.
Yes. And yeah, I actually put a resource for the seniors and the juniors, Sally from Sally Mae, about the college admissions process. So that's, if you're a parent of a junior and senior, they have an announcement about Sally Mae in their Google Classroom. What exactly is early action? So early action is just basically an earlier deadline for students to apply if they like. If a student applies early action, they then get their decision usually before the new year. That's the only difference. Our child will apply to scholarship their senior year. Yes. Well, I mean, some scholarships can be applied junior year, but it's way more likely that they will get awarded a scholarship senior year. Is CUNY and SUNY still free for families making under $125,000 a year? Let me explain this. So that scholarship, yes, early action is for seniors. Yes, sorry. Um, so CUNY and SUNY, that scholarship you're speaking about is the Excelsior Scholarship. The Excelsior Scholarship is granted by New York State to those families who make under $125,000. This is something that the students have to apply for. Usually, in the years past, this is open around March or April. Usually, I will get an email saying that the application is open, and then students can apply. Having said that, last year with COVID, the class of 2020 didn't have access to the Excelsior Scholarship until July. So, I mean, it just has everything to do with how much money the state has. And I subscribe to it. I will be getting updates as they come along, but I haven't gotten any yet. What can my son, a ninth grader, be doing now to prepare for college? You mentioned a statement letter. Okay, so as a ninth grader, what your son, well, ninth, 10th, 11th, what your child should really be focusing on is keeping those grades up, especially now that standardized testing isn't the way it used to be. The transcript is something that is going to be really looked at in depth. College admissions counselors, when I was a college admissions counselor, I would look at the trends in the student's transcript even. So let's say the student did really well freshman year, and then by junior year I saw a dip. I was less likely to accept that student. If let's say your child had a rocky freshman year, got a little better sophomore year, and then grew even more junior year, even if that GPA wasn't even there, like let's say I had an 80 GPA that I could use for an acceptance, if that student was at a 78 and I saw how much they improved, I was more likely to accept them. So focusing on their classes is the number one thing they can do. Also, on top of that, so I mostly, being that I am the college counselor, I do work mostly with the juniors and seniors. I've been providing juniors and seniors with virtual college rep visits every week, pretty much twice a week, I would say. So different college representatives come virtually to a Google Meet, and our students sign up and they come and they give their the college rep gives their presentation, just all about the school. It provides exposure when we can't physically take the kids to the school, because right now I will be trying to really get our kids on some trips, get them on some campuses so they can see what like college life is about. Unfortunately, it's not something we can do right now. So the next best thing really is to get an admissions representative on the line with us, and the students can answer their questions. The students get their questions answered directly from them. And it also, when the students show up to something like this, it shows it demonstrated interest. And demonstrated interest is something that college admissions representatives really pay attention to. So every time your child interacts with a college rep, the college rep records it. There's different types of programs that colleges use. The one most known is called Slate. Basically what that is your child will email the rep, call the rep, show up to a virtual open house, come to our virtual rep visit. The rep will then take note of that and put it in Slate. Now, when the rep pulls up your child's application, they will see, oh, this student came to our open house, came to my rep visit, asked me questions about the application. Your child is more likely to get accepted if they have reached out to the counselor more than once. A lot of colleges, if they see that the student didn't reach out, didn't really show any interest, they might think that this school is just an application filler. They might not accept your student, even if they had no reason not to, even if your student has above a 90 GPA. They don't want to give seats to people who are not interested. So definitely have your child keep looking at those Google Classrooms, attending these rep visits. They're usually on Mondays and Fridays around 10 a.m. to make sure it doesn't interfere with their class schedule. What other sources are for scholarships besides FAFSA and TAP? So right off the top of my head, College Board is a really great resource for scholarships. FastWeb is also a really good one. And like I said, if you go onto the Google Classroom with your child, you will find a bunch of different resources. I have a top 10 scholarship website document in there that the students have been using. How do you know if your child is eligible for grants? Usually FAFSA, usually when you fill out FAFSA, that's how you know how much money you're going to get. That's the whole point of filling out the FAFSA, so the government can analyze your tax forms, and then they let you know how much aid you're eligible for. Oh, and let me go to the personal. So let me talk about the personal statement. I didn't talk about that yet. So the personal statement is a piece of writing that your child is probably going to start the summer of their junior year and then into the fall or senior year. Some senior English teachers work on the college essay in class, which is great. And basically, there's different prompts that a college provides students with. If your child is applying, Common App is it's one application that a child can apply to as many schools as they want. So Common App has their own prompts, and basically it just like, name an experience, tell us about an experience in your life that changed you, how did it change you, etc. Just, things like that. One of the prompts is write whatever you want, basically. So in that personal statement, it's usually around 500 words. And the admissions rep is really looking for your child to tell them why they would be a good candidate for their college through their experiences, if that makes sense. So they definitely look at that as well. Does Edison have a close relationship with you? Yeah, so actually, Mr. Kalu can probably help me with this. We have some articulation agreements with certain colleges that your students, like if through SHOP, if they get certified for certain things, and then the colleges will take that credit. We also do College Now through Queensborough Community College, so your child could earn college credit. We also have, we have a really good relationship with CUNY. A lot of our students apply to CUNY and end up going to CUNY. We also have close relationships with Vaughan College, I would say. St. John's is a really good one. We have a good relationship with NYADI, which is a trade school that's also a college, so your child can be certified and get college credit at the same time. Harvard, we can try. I'm working on that for you guys. John Jay, yes, John Jay is in the CUNY system. Our students proved to be very successful in CUNY.
So I can jump in there as well.
Yeah.
So the
go in the
asks,
kitchen and get something to eat.
We have a close relationship with some colleges. Yeah. Every one of our CTE programs have what we call articulation agreements. So we have articulation agreements with every program, which means that. One second. I'm sorry. Which means that students get credits for being in their shop class. So a lot of our programs, well, every one of our programs, it's a mandate, a state mandate for us to have articulation credits. And that means that students will get credits for being in the class, doing their shop work, and getting college credits while they're doing it. So we do it with, for example, automotive programs do with UTI, Lincoln Tech. Our IT programs, we have NYIT, St. John's. We're working with BMCC. Our graphics programs, we're working with City Tech. We're working with LaGuardia. So we're actively trying to increase the amount of articulations we have, the amount of post-secondary partners that we have. So
2018.
in terms of us having a close relationship with colleges, that's what we do. That's our goal. Our goal is to make sure that students are leaving here with college credits. We're doing with Farmingdale. One of the great thing with Farmingdale is our students are leaving with 12 credits from Edison, going to Farmingdale, and they don't even have to use it at Farmingdale. They get a transcript. They take that transcript and they transfer it to other colleges with it. So
and 12 credits is a full semester of college.
One full semester of college. So that's what we've been doing. We're trying to build our college and post-secondary readiness within our schools, and we're reaching out to multiple colleges, multiple institutions, and make sure that we're able to get our students credits for what they're doing in Edison. Because remember, for me personally, I have students that are saying that they go to college and they're doing stuff that we've done already at Edison. So why
it's
not
raining.
they get the credits for what they've been doing at
It's
Edison
right here.
in college? So we're working with the colleges to get that.
So Diego, for your question, it's what if I don't want to major in something that is related to computer networking, which is my shop class? Does it still count? What will happen is it will count, but it will go towards electives.
Yep. That's a great question. And that's my shop class. So if you're doing something, and if you do the Farmingdale credits for Cisco in particular, many of the schools are taking it as an elective credit.
And you need elective credits to graduate as well. So it's not like you're doing it for no reason. And we also have a question, is Farmingdale a SUNY or a CUNY? Farmingdale is a SUNY.
SUNY school. Yep. So you're getting these credits and you know, even if you do not want to pursue this career as an IT person, medical, whatever it is that you came to Edison to, your credits will go towards something in your degree. They're transferable, especially if they're articulated. They're transferable, and you'll get elective credits for it. And that's like the best part of it. You're saving so much money in college for it. Remember, in CUNY, it's about $950 per class, per credit. A 3-credit class is about $950. So think about it. You're saving so much money coming from a CTE school like ours.
And that's CUNY, not even mentioning SUNY or a private school. Private school credits are much more money than CUNY credits. So especially if you're going to an NYIT type of college, it's private, or LIU Post or something like that, or a lot of our students love LIU Post, those 12 credits are going to really save you some money.
A lot. Farmingdale is CUNY.
All right, so I'll jump in here and say that not only do we have articulated credits, but we're also working closely now with a program that's called CareerWise. And so we have the program now where it's an apprenticeship. And so what happens is they take, we recruit 10th graders so that they can go into the apprenticeship in the 11th grade, in the 12th grade, and then 1 year out of college, 1 year out of high school. And so by going into this apprenticeship, they're working with a few Fortune 500 companies that are molding them and guiding them as to which college they should go into. And if you've read it was in the Wall Street newspaper, in the Wall Street Journal, they put together an educational committee, and they also have a commercial committee or commerce committee, and it's led by Jamie Dimon from Chase. And so his goal is to open up the doors for students that may not have the opportunity because families may not have funding to send them to these colleges. So instead, they will train them and guide them, because they're also seeing that sometimes these kids go to college and when they come out, they don't have the skill sets that the company needs. And so they pay these students, and we have a few of our students who have gone through this program already, and Ms. Sharma is actually advertising the program now. So it's a great way to continue your career, but also do an apprenticeship. And I said it's a few Fortune 500 companies that are involved in this. So if you need more info on that, please email me. I know Ms. Sharma will be sending out information. And we should definitely work on something for our parents that aligns all our programs to the articulated credit. So we'll be looking to put something together for you. That is something that I've spoken to Mr. Harry Prasad already, to work with Ms. David here to get that going. So.
Mr. Kalu, we have a question about agreements with CAD. Do we have any articulation agreements with architecture?
Yes, we do. I don't know.
I believe it's with City College, New York City.
College.
Yeah.
The one on J3, New York Tech?
Yeah, that's City Tech, yeah.
We have that with City Tech. Me and Mr. Harris we're trying to build the number of articulations you have for each program. And we've been reaching out to different colleges and post-secondary. We're probably the first ones. We are the first ones that have NYIT under our belt. We're working with St. John's. So we're continuing to try to build the relationships that we have with colleges and post-secondary institutions. AutoCAD definitely has, and it's City Tech. And I don't remember the second one. I'm sorry offhand. I don't know that offhand. I'll look it up and I'll get back to you guys in the chat. But otherwise, we do have it. Every one of our CT programs have either 2 or more articulation agreements.
And we're also, just so you know, the goal here is also to get as